Well, we're gonna get into it right here on Black Girl Stuff. Now, when it comes to sexual expression, male rappers often get a pass, clearly, but leading ladies sometimes face backlash. Is it time, y'all, that we give women in hip hop the right to be raunchy in their music, to express themselves sexually and freely?
Absolutely. I feel like, at first, it's not necessarily being ridiculed for being raunchy. I think there's literally a power play at, a power struggle really now in modern day hip hop, right? I feel like black men or male rappers have always been consistent. They've been the providers. They've been talking about how much they can protect, how much they got. But it's the female rappers that have changed, and they've been forced to change, right? Like, there at first was little dots of being sexual. MC Lyte with Roughneck, or even Missy Elliott with 1 Minute Man. But, with the erasure of video vixens, I feel like now female rappers are taking on that place. They're being sexual, they're talking their ish in their lyrics, but they're also talking about what they need from men. So it becomes less of like, oh, you guys have the power. It's more so now, I'm demanding that money.
Right.
I need a brand new crib just to F in.
Okay, pop your shit.
Yes, that's what it is.
But this is not new, guys. It's been around for a long time. I mean, honestly, even Queen Latifah was like, about this length, about this width. But she was also saying UNITY.
Right.
The problem is now we don't have a balance.
Yeah.
So all we hearing is coochie, 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 coochie.
Right.
And it's like, as black women and women in general, we're so layered. Everything don't gotta be about coochie all the time. It's not that this is the old coochie rap era. It's where's the Lauryn Hill? We don't have the balance of the Lauryn Hill in this.
But why do y'all feel like we've often given men the pass historically to be that? Like, why is it that obvious double standard? Why can a man rap about how many bitches he sleeping with or how many hoes he got and what his things do sexually, but when a woman does it, it's looked at like, oh, a little taboo or too much?
Men just, in society, are given the allowance to express themselves sexually. As you know, women were given parameters. You can express yourself sexually, but in this box that it's acceptable. And acceptable by society standards. Our bodies for so long were used for profit, for chattel slavery, for all of those things. Our sexuality for so long didn't belong to us. And I think like that's a big portion of why we're seeing this extreme in spectrum. And that's the point. It's a spectrum. And it should be allowed that we're able to express it no matter which side of the spectrum that we're on. That is, to me, what sexual liberation and liberation for black women in terms of sex should look like, in terms of like as modest as you want to be or as out there as you want to be. And you can't make a value judgment on the woman and call her a whore however she chooses to express her sexuality. Even if that's what you think that is, who are you to make that value judgment?
Is it us or the consumer? Because like Cardi B said, she makes songs that is not so, like you said, you have the option. She makes songs that's not so this way, but then the song that charts is the coochie one.
Is that true liberation? You were saying Cardi is doing that because of, what sells. You're also saying that this is a historic thing and now we're taking ownership of your bodies. Are you truly taking ownership of it, or are we still in this conundrum where we are focused on the male gaze? Like, are we doing this because you are sexually liberated and sexually free? You're actually trapping yourself in this box that people want.
I like that. Are we playing a game, but really getting played? Because women, no matter what we can say amongst each other, we are still being judged at less than, take artists like Sukiana's and the Sexy Reds, and no matter how much we love them as women, guys aren't giving them the same amount of respect, or even media isn't giving them the same amount of respect as they give other female artists who don't go as far.
See, but Brie, I don't think that that's true. I don't think that we're respected either way.
Okay.
Whether we're the most modest, whether we're the most out there, I think we are still judged. And I think that sex is, like you were saying, it's so commodified, it's turned into such a transaction. We have used that as a bartering chip in many senses to barter our worth, to say, I'm worthy because I can show up this way, but I can also be this way. I feel like yes, Akil, I get what you're saying. There is a time where it's not so empowering because at the end of the day, like you were saying, Brie, it's still like feeding the male,
point of view.
the
have
male
the power, and I think they're pretending, not full on pretending, because we got to own our stuff too. I think it's important to own your sexuality, but there's a threshold, right? And I think after some point, it's like, how much are you owning your sexuality, and how much is your sexuality owning you?
I agree.
I think what you were mentioning too with the Sukianas and the Sexy Reds, I think with them, it's not sex that they're selling, and that's the problem. That's what the conundrum kind of is.
What
I
they
feel
selling
like
then?
they're selling ghetto-ness and hood ratchery. That's what I think it is. And there's no problem with that, because I know a lot of sexy red, purple, yellow, pinks, like just growing up. That exists. So I think they need to be represented. I think as Black people, we like to shout to other races that we're not a monolith, but internally, we don't feel the need to really, support or put on a pedestal folks that are not Black excellence. And I think they represent that. They don't need to be center stage, though. I think that's the problem, because I think it then changes what comes thereafter.
But I mean, we're catching them in the beginning, too. It's like what we're seeing is two women from the hood getting some money. And it's like, they still have room to grow. We just catching it in the beginning. These women haven't even got a chance to grow into the celebrity that they could be. They can also clean up later.
You don't think
I don't know about cleaning up later, though, because what I have seen, though,
Right.
is a lot of times when you come out and you start that way with that nasty,
the only way
they
to
want
go
you
from
to
there.
continue with the nasty.
And this is the issue. I think we're trying to say, this is them now, this won't be them later. This is who they are, and that's okay. I think that's okay. However, at the same time, how far do we want to say that they represent the masses? And I think that's the problem.
When it comes down to the lyrics with these men also writing these lyrics, do you feel like that it's clickbait, or are they truly living their lives like this provocative?
As an artist, it's about what you feel when you rapping the lyrics. Like if I'm in the studio and I'm feeling empowered, I mean, honestly, my song Big O, which I just dropped, make sure y'all check that out with Rich Kid. I'm like, might call me gas like a fat ass. She throw it to me, I'm a grab. Like I'm saying this is my sexuality, and I'm cool.
But that's something that you may want to experience. That could be your truth. I think what Bree is saying is that really your truth when you say certain things. Like, I want to get done in my booty hole. That's what you really do. You know what I'm saying?
But she may.
crazy
Women are layered, so maybe she want to get done in her.
Yeah, but sometimes
if she want to be
take it there,
and that's why I think they need to be. They're a part of the conversation as they should be. But I think it's more so as a consumer is how we are interpreting them. And I hate the fact that a lot of times when these type of artists that are more there for, I would say, shock value. Yes, like, promoting hood rat, sexiness, whatever, but there's also a shock value to that too. I hate that we as a consumer then interpret them, especially Black women, as being real. Because I think then by doing that, we're showcasing that those that do not act out of pocket, those that do not, profound or profess these type of lyrics are not. And that's the problem. We're trying to say Black women should be one thing or the other in order to say
that's why there needs to be a spectrum. And that's why representation is so important. And that's why all of us sitting here right now having this conversation is so important, because people need to see the parts of themselves reflected, especially in the media. It's like we're always pit against each other.
Exactly.
And we don't get to just exist and be individuals.
Well, we can exist here, y'all, right here on Black Girl Stuff. Remember, it's all about celebrating our femininity in whatever way feels right to you. Keep on rocking to the beat of your own drum.